Hey everybody, good morning, aloha. This is Jeeps, your old composer here at the Decomposer Lounge. Not so old today. Look, I shaved my beard off yesterday, day before yesterday, giving it some new growth. Anyhow, I'm here to peel back the layers of Periphery's, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Absolomb. Look forward to this. I recently have come across a couple videos from other news-oriented bloggers about Periphery and the prog rock metal and just, you know, opinions and stuff like that. And it's very unique to watch other people who have shows that respond and have opinions about things, talk about things in a way where I finally go, don't know if I'm agreeing on that. So who knows, I might do my very first rebuttal coming up soon. Anyhow, super stoked. Want to let you know really quick, look, I get strings. You guys remember I bought the 7-string. Why am I saying that? Because of Periphery. Because I'm kind of influenced now by Periphery's composition and stuff. And you guys know I bought that Music Man 7-string. So I'm getting creepy weird about getting ready to do one for you guys. I just don't know what it's going to sound like. It could be an epic fail. But at least I want to get a nice setup so I can give it everything that I can with my old man little fingers here. All right, guys, I want to thank you very much for hanging out. You guys know the jig here. If you guys want to buy me a cup of coffee, super cool beans, thank you so much. It really goes a long way. Also, I have my Spotify. If you don't feel like a cup of coffee, you don't want to buy me a cup of coffee, you don't feel good about that, but you want something for your money, go check out my Patreon. Got a ton of stuff there, and what I do on Patreon stays on Patreon, so maybe there's something there that you'd like, and you can support me there. Also, the link for Periphery and the headsets, what I'm wearing, are going to be down below. All right, guys, let's do this. Periphery Absolomb. Forgive me if I get it wrong. All right. All right, you know, one of the things that I love about Periphery, and there are a couple of other bands too, that really give us the opportunity to sit back and sink into the riff that's been composed. And by virtue of that, it also, I get a little chicken skinned when I talk about it because I do love longer songs. I do love songs that take their time in relaying their composition and arrangements to you. You know, I think in my head I'm a little caught up with what I said earlier about what other people have to say about long songs and big, long, complicated things and stuff. I hear a production and composition and arrangement that really is invested in as far as I feel, making sure that the listener really gets a hold of the complexity of what they're doing, but yet sitting and rinsing in it for a while. So let's talk about that opening bass. Once they got that riff going, what a great sound. Of course, you know, everybody knows who's in the bands and everything. One of the things I love about that bass, as the arrangement starts to grow, we hear the drums. I think we're pretty used to the drums and Periphery and stuff like that. I think it's the same gentleman that does the other drum things, the Golly Get Good or something program and stuff like that. So there's some of them that are kind of, I kind of recognize the sounds. It seems like, I don't know. But what I loved is how the bass riff bloomed into the guitar riff. If you listen to that, I'd say we're about a minute into it, and as that bass riff starts to bloom. Now we get into probably a minute before the singing starts. And the structure of the song is not that of in it to a minute for a minute. These guys are giving you 16, 24 bars to get into it. Even with the verse, nice long verse, so you can kind of bring in all of the arrangement. Kind of just sit and listen and rinse and just kind of chill and let it get in there. Then we get into the hook. What I love about the hook, you may have seen me do this. I'm sorry, that's just me on my keyboard thing. But there's a melody behind it, or an arrangement behind it that's going something of that nature. I don't know if it's 7/8. I'm not going into times and meters and stuff like that, because you know my breakdowns are for what? The pure listener, the ones that don't want to know about the meters and stuff, but those who are just enjoying the music. And this guy's voice is just absolutely incredible. There are multiple hooks here, and I'm sure I'm going to continue to hear it as we go through, but I just wanted to say that because I think, you know, once again, I'm going back to what some other people have said about these long form pieces of music, that there isn't anything memorable per se, and I'm saying, yeah, no, that's bullshit. Okay, did I just curse? Chee-hoo! All right, let me go back a little bit. I'm sorry. Oh, it looks like a solo is coming up. I'm sorry if I just blew the juju on that. Something I forgot to bring up, I'll just bring it up briefly, is the open guitar patterns, the voicing guitar patterns on the clean sounds that we heard as part of the arrangement at the beginning. That, to me, that's a very unique dynamic. That's a very big ambient move. You know, in dynamics and ambience is depth and width and stuff like that, letting those ring out and carry. And they also own part of the tonal range, you know, from beetle fart to dog whistle, you know, up in here, so that something as pristine as those voicings and the clean guitar sound can still cut through the mix because it's in a higher register in the tonal zone, whereas all the heaviness is around it. And it seems like they were just kind of bringing that pattern back in or something. So it reminded me that I didn't say anything about that at the beginning. Let me go back a little bit so we can get into what seems to be Je Solo. I think we're going to get into a section that I'm really going to glam over in a second, but I do want to bring up, did you see me kind of go quirk, you know, when we were listening to it, how they dropped, they were in their chord pattern and stuff, but then they introduced us to kind of a darker chord within that, I don't know if it almost felt like they went out of scale in that, just to give us a little bit of a Heimlich maneuver, just to kind of readjust us for the pattern that they were using, kind of like a reset. What I want to briefly mention about in the solo here, when, you know, all the bands that I've been listening to on this channel, you know, I haven't heard one crap guitar player whatsoever. I've heard guitar players use many different styles, but of performing, and a lot of it does have to do with precision and speed, stamina, technicality, and stuff like that. And you know, I know that there's a lot of, we get to a point where fast is fast and everybody's already graduated that class already. But to me, what I really love about guitar players like whoever's holding down the lead here are the nuances of playing the notes that have a melodic content to it. So usually when there's a lot of speed that's going on, whether they're doing the tapping stuff or doing really fast stuff, usually it's in between two notes that they've accented, and then they're just wanting to get to the next, you know, resolve or release or change. The nuances, for those of you who are the pure listeners, might be a way on how they may bend and unbend a string, or start on a note and then kind of glide onto the note by tapping onto maybe a couple frets down, going da-da, da-da. Those kind of things stand out 10 times more than all the glam. You know, and I don't say glam in dissing that. I'm not that guy that says, oh, there's too much of all this. No, I'm the first one to try to enjoy it. That's why I'm trying to set up my 7-string. I know I don't have those skills, but, you know, never can tell, right? But it's those nuances, and that's what I loved about the solo. The solo was very melodic. Yeah, there was a lot of wonderful work and technical work in between it, but it's those nuances that are on the single notes, or the notes that mean something that stick out in the solo. I thought were epically epic. And the drumming, I mean, I was listening to, you can't not listen. It's really hard on a first listen to not, you know, and I know I'm forgetting stuff that I'm thinking about. Oh, I should say something about this, and I completely space. But anyhow, let's go back a little bit. Looks like there's going to be a great little section here. Okay, before we take it out, I know it looks like there's still a couple minutes left. Here's what I love about what I heard about that passage. There was that, you know, hybrid string sound that was kind of an ostinato. It was a pattern that they were repeating. And then they did some nice, you know, notes that were tied notes, or notes that held on. You know, they weren't short, you know, eighth, quarter, 16th dotted notes or anything. And so they're doing these, you know, pseudo keyboard string pad change type arrangements here. They got this nice ostinato going, but what I love is that when the guitar and the drums came in, they allowed that to continue to live, that pattern, though it's in the back, and they backed out a little bit on the riffiness of their arrangement, so that was still able to come through, at least with my ears and hearing and dialing into it. I really liked how they just kept that going until they broke off into the next change and stuff, so I wanted to bring that up, and as we listen to this all the way through, finally, as I shut the falafel muff up, see what else we got here. Oh, you guys had to drop that one in there, didn't you? Oh my God, that last phrase, that last chord that they dropped into. You know, there's no two ways about it. The special thing to me about Periphery is the depth of capabilities that they have that somehow they're able to tame enough to put out tracks like this. And what I mean by that is that last passage that we just heard, very, very nice. They continued, you know, with these arrangements that were kind of syncopated. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on meter-wise. I told you guys at the beginning I wasn't going to try to get into decipher that. You guys can do that on your own. But for the pure listener and stuff, the ability for the team here at Periphery to pull back on the reins on probably so much they could deliver in a track, I can feel that. I could feel that they're being so detailed on. They know how many places they can go on a chord change, it seems, and they just go, well, let's just do this, and then we'll grow on it. And that's what I love about great arrangements. You know, there's a difference between arrangements and composition. Some people might argue not yes, maybe no, but that's when you're laying down this particular set of chords and stuff, and you fill these in with these nuances, whether it's, you know, these hybrid strings that they had going in this last passage, the answer back, so you had something going here, and then another really nice melody would come in the cello section, and you know, there was some other instrumentation that I heard on that. But the fact that they're able to pull back and still, in a track like this, be able to deliver those particular nuances in the arrangements while shifting gears in instrumentation, going from full power, you know, metal style and everything into these strings. And that piano sound was really nice. It kind of reminded me of it could either have been like a 9-foot grand with a closed top, you know, with the mute pedal on it, or the dampener pedal on it, you know, that kind of a sound, or maybe a nice little tricked out, you know, module upright piano or something. But that was just really nice. The pattern was really nice. But that last chord, that's them telling you, you ain't seen nothing yet. At least to me, that's what I heard. I was like, oh, you guys, like, come on. Anyhow, listen, what a joy to have this journey with Periphery. This actually came from a suggestion out of my Patreon. I want to thank you. You know who you are, to have me come back at this. And speaking of Patreon, once again, guys, I know that not many people can support and stuff, but if you do decide, instead of buying me a cup of coffee, because you know this doesn't monetize my channel, you know, check out the Patreon. I've got lyrical breakdowns from Tool and Radiohead and all kinds of stuff there. At least maybe, you know, for a couple dollars you can get something that you want out of it. I want to thank you guys once again. This is going to be a mellow week for me. I'm not putting one out every day this week because I'm trying to look for a new camera. My camera's starting to turd out a bit, and I've got some things I'm going to do. Plus, I'm really excited to get these all put on my 7-string. And oh, I'm scared because once I do that, I got to put out an old composer with a 7-string guitar, and that's going to be kind of freaky deaky. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend, and it's all going to be good, guys. It's all going to be good. At the end of the day, it's all going to be good. You guys take care. Aloha. All right.